Was Ryan Day spying on a Clemson practice? He was seen, him and his beard, they were seen around Clemson, sniffing around. I hope we can beat Michigan now if we have to play them. Welcome to Clemson Football Live. I am Brian. I'm glad that you're here. It is Thursday, March 14th. Man, the year is moving by fast. It's almost the end of the week. I'm glad you're here. If you're new to the program, I hope that you will actually subscribe. You know what is really funny is I see some of these YouTubers and they'll be like, program, and they think it's kind of funny. Well, that's actually how people in the South pronounce it. I always think it's funny about people picking at Southerners about their accent. You can go anywhere else in the country, and it's, oh, that's a beautiful accent, or blah, blah, blah. Southerners, read a book, do better. I'm sorry, I'm in a mood. So, let's dive right in. Drop a comment in here. Say hello for me, to me, with me. So I'm trying to catch up on what's going on at the Clemson practice. Sammy Brown's doing really well. Bryant Wesco's doing really well. That Nolan Hauser did a wonderful video yesterday. Someone gave me an idea and said, hey, I want you to talk about our kicking. So you know what I did? You asked and you received. I mean, I'm not being sacrilegious there, but I did what you asked, and even I felt, a little better about our kicking game after I did the video myself. So, did that yesterday, but as I'm nosing around myself, I find out that Ohio State head coach Ryan Day was in Clemson yesterday. Was he knocking back a few cold ones down at the SO Club? Was he asking Dabo Swinney how to beat Michigan? Did he procure some type of fine, off-market beard oils in the upstate of South Carolina? Did he come back down to Clemson just to feel good about himself with, Michigan winning the national championship, and he hasn't been able to beat Michigan for the past 3 years? Did he come down to see Dabo Swinney and feel good about himself because the last time those two guys saw one another, Ohio State beat Clemson in Clemson's last playoff game, 49-28. They beat the crap out of Clemson. All us Clemson fans, we hear it all the time. Clemson doesn't have the elite talent that it had. When we had the elite talent, the last 2 years of Trevor and Travis and T. Higgins, the last 2 years, we got our butt whipped. I mean, so it goes back to all that lazy coaching on the offensive side of the ball. Did he come down here just to feel good about himself? Ryan Day was actually in Clemson yesterday with his son, RJ. I think his name's RJ. Let me look at that. Look at this article. Pull my crap together. RJ Day. RJ Day is a 2027 quarterback, class of 2027 quarterback. And so he was visiting Clemson with his dad, who just happens to be Ryan Day of Ohio State. And so RJ has some offers right now, one from Marshall, one from Boston College. Now, I know that Boston College offer was from Jeff Hafley. Hafley's gone. Bill O'Brien's at Boston College. Bill O'Brien's you better watch Bill O'Brien. He can coach football. So him being at Boston College, that's a whole other video. But Ryan Day was, in fact, in Clemson with his son, just checking out the Tigers. That's kind of interesting. I always found it interesting to see these coaches who maybe their sons would go play for another team. A lot of people forgets this, that Ed Orgeron's son was playing quarterback for a small school while he was at LSU. We have the Venable boys staying at Clemson while their dad goes to Oklahoma. You had Chandler Morris playing quarterback for TCU last year. His dad just kind of volunteer staff, basically, at Clemson last year. I really liked that story. I think this, what I read was Chad Morris would be in Clemson from Monday to Thursday, and then he would go to wherever son was at, whether it was a home game there at TCU or a away game, just to support him. I really like that story. You know, a guy like that has the means to be able to hop on a plane wherever he wants, stay wherever he wants, spend as much money as he wants because he's made a lot of money coaching, and that's incredible. But to go see his son play. And so, but it's interesting to see guys when their son plays at a different school. So that happens from time to time, and it's interesting to see Ryan Day in Clemson during this practice so his son could just take a campus tour. So that would be, so if you were in Clemson over the past few days and you thought you saw a majestic beard with the looks of shame that they could not beat Michigan, you saw it. You saw right. You were not having an episode. This was real. So, got Parker Henderson in here. Potential hire, not for head coach or OC, not for head coach. You're talking about OC. He could bring some value. You never know. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But hey, Parker, I've seen crazier things. Chip Kelly literally walked away from UCLA and became the OC at Ohio State. I can't say that that's out of the question. I mean, I really don't. But Parker Henderson, my old buddy. Also, if you see that symbol beside Parker's name, he is a member, monthly supporter of the Clemson Football Live channel. So it's either $3 or $5 per month. Parker supports on a monthly basis. I do appreciate that, Parker. It's good to talk to you. Hopefully, I don't know if you're coming up to the spring game or not. I might try to go to the spring game. I know it's a drive for you, but let me know. I've already talked to Tiger Nation this morning. He said he's going to be at the spring game, so I might try to go. I don't always go. I was there last year. I think I was there the last few years. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Parker, it's good to talk to you. Ohio State and Clemson has a very interesting relationship. You go all the way back to the 70s. Woody Hayes, the legendary Woody Hayes, is coaching the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they're playing the Rednecks of Clemson Tigers. A young Danny Ford is on the sideline. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I believe Charlie Pell had just taken the job at Florida. He left, and Danny took over to coach that game. You Clemson historians, that was a lot. That was 4 years before I was born, so please correct me. I could mess this up. But I do remember the story is Charlie Bowman intercepted a pass that basically it sealed the game for Clemson to beat Ohio State. He ran out of bounds right in front of Old Man Hayes. Old Man Hayes gave him a nice punch in the gut, and the next day he was fired for punching a player. Now, back in those days, you could punch and hit a player. You just didn't do it to the other team in front of everybody. So, I mean, you get away with a lot. Then, of course, Clemson won their first Orange Bowl since the 1981 National Championship against, drumroll please, Ohio State. 2013-2014, Clemson won 40-35. That was their first New Year's Six win since 1981. And I say New Year's Six, but that was an Orange Bowl. Clemson had not made it to a bowl like that since 81. Clemson went to Citrus Bowl, then went to the Gator Bowl, then went to the all these other different bowls around that type of level, but they had not won the Orange Bowl since then. They went to the Orange Bowl like 2 years before that, or 1 year before that, lost to West Virginia 70-33. That's how Kevin Steele got fired, and then Brent Venables got brought in. But Clemson that was the first time they had won an Orange Bowl since 1981, the national championship, and that's only the second time after the 1981 championship that Clemson had been to the Orange Bowl. Obviously, I just said they lost to West Virginia, and then they won. That was a big deal for Clemson. I'll never forget feeling like Clemson had turned the corner, so to speak. Had more work to do, but still was incredible. Then the 2016-2017 season, Deshaun Watson, this is his junior year. This is when Clemson wins the national championship. Played Urban Meyer and Ohio State first round. Clemson beats them 31-0. I still can't believe that game went down the way that it did. Then we get into 2019-2020. First round of the playoffs in Glendale. Clemson wins 29-23. There was a controversial no-call fumble that was overturned, but if you go back and you watch the game, Ohio State had multiple chances to score touchdowns, and they just kept either overthrowing the ball or guys kept dropping the ball. And then they had a 6'6" white stick outrun their team. Even if the guy did slip, I mean, Trevor Lawrence absolutely burned them on that play. So, you can talk about that fumble, but my Lord, you gave the game away. And so at that point, they had never beat Clemson. Then January the 1st, 2021 happened. That was for the 2020 season. And that was Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, a bunch of those guys. It was their last game. And Ohio State absolutely unloaded on them. And so the year before that, Clemson was up 17-7 on LSU, that great LSU team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards, Hilaire, whatever his name is, plays for Kansas City. Clemson was up 17-7 with about 10 minutes left in the first half and just basically quit. Tony admitted afterwards, we forsook the run. How do you forsake the run when you have Travis Etienne? That's a whole other subject. So everybody said, oh, we got our butts whipped because LSU was just that good. Nobody wanted to admit it was just poor coaching on the offensive side of the ball, especially. And once the offense just kept trotting off, the defense got wore down. In this game, a lot of the same thing happened. Now, of course, Brandon Streeter actually had to be the offensive coordinator for this game because Tony had that sickness that was going on 4 years ago. I don't even like to talk about it. Everybody gets upset about it. But in that game, I mean, Clemson got the crap beat out of them. And that was probably one of the last really good wins that Ryan Day had. He went on to lose to, I believe, Alabama in the national championship, but I know they didn't win it. But finally, Ohio State got a win over the Tigers. So I had to go through that. It was kind of fun. That was a really interesting game. Go through some comments I'm getting off of here. Had to talk about that. It would be interesting if you're like driving through Clemson. You're right there at where Tillman Hall's at and where TD's. I like to go to TD's. TD's is old. It's run down. I love it. I love to go there and get me a burger. You turn and you look and you go, I don't believe I have cataracts. That's Ryan Day. That would be funny. Go through here real quick. Joseph Riley, Danny also received a Jaguar after the game. I wouldn't doubt that, my friend. I could see Day being a solid quarterback, wide receiver, higher. Maybe. Joseph Riley, Charlie Bowman actually became very good friends with Woody Hayes after that. Charlie was from Ohio and stayed with Woody, mainly because Woody reached out to him after the game. That's a good thing. Somebody makes a terrible mistake like that. I mean, punching another player, that's terrible. But it's good to see there was amends made. Dale Parker, we don't want crying Day. Terrible character. We can do better than that. Parker, like him or not, Day is a good catch in his own right. Here's the thing about Ryan Day. I don't always like the way that he does certain things, folks. But you can't say that he's messed up Ohio State. He hasn't. I've seen a lot of guys mess up teams that they've taken over. He's had enough time to mess up Ohio State. He just finally had to lose. He just finally started losing to Michigan And Michigan finally won a national championship after being shoved down our throats for years on Athlon Sports and Phil Steele. And I can't say Phil Steele that much, but Lindy's, Michigan, this is their year. You know, you say it for so many years, the law of numbers eventually catches up to where you're going to at least get one of them right. Anyway. Yes, John Smith, Day was whining about Brent Venables stealing signals a long time ago, or thought that, or mentioned it. I don't know. It's been a while. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining me. Hey, I want to tell you this. The channel, this is crazy. I've never had this happen. The channel is growing, and it's the off season. It's March. It is March. I'm not kidding. And what that tells me is that the subjects that I've been bringing up, y'all like. You might even like to just show up and tell me that I'm stupid, which I have a few of you that do that. But I have never had this happen. This channel is growing. I mean, it's not millions and stuff like, but the channel is growing consistently, and I'm hearing from the same people over and over and over again. And I am glad. Listen to me. I am glad that every one of you keep coming back, reaching out to me. I want to hear, what topics would you like for me to cover? I mean, I'm serious. What topics would you like for me to cover? Put it in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed, folks, listen to me. We're in a time of inflation. It's ridiculous. I'm like, how much is our grocery bill? We're not eating, this fine steak and imported meats. It's just regular. It's expensive. Joining and supporting Clemson Football Live is listen to me, very, very affordable. $3 per month or $5 per month. So if you like what I'm doing, $3 or $5 per month worth, go for it. I do appreciate you being here. I hope you'll subscribe at least, because that is free. Also, I've joined the College Huddle. The College Huddle is actually, oddly enough, Eric will probably see this. Eric Boggs will probably see this from the Ohio podcast. Reached out to me and said, hey, man, we're putting together, me and a group of guys are putting together a conglomerate, as I'm calling it, of college sports YouTube personalities and podcasters. And I will tell you straight up, we've thought about it. We'd like for you to come represent Clemson. And I was like, me? Little old me? And he was like, yes. And I cried for 45 minutes. No, I didn't. I watched The Notebook and ate chocolate. No. So I told him, I said, man, I would love to. I would flipping love to do it. So the College Huddle will launch in April. I do have the date when it launches, but just in case something changes, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything right now, but I will give you more details. But big shout out to those guys. I'm looking forward to this, all the collaborations, getting to know other people. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. Parker Henderson, I'm on a $3 per month, and I can't even see it come out. See, Parker right there. Parker is just a great evangelist right there, my friend. Thank you so much. Parker Parker and Chase are friends have been friends of mine since the Bobby Durkins days. I got to get back to doing Bobby Durkins all the time. Being an idiot redneck is a lot of fun. Newsflash: a lot of people thinks that Bobby Durkins is real. When ESPN contacted me, the marketing team that was handling their 2020 marketing, they thought Bobby Durkins was real. I guess I did a good job on convincing them. J&P, this is about the most drama any off season we've ever had, and there's more to come, and you're doing a great job on the podcast. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Keep passing along. Buddy Durkin origin story. Yes, Bobby Durkin's origin story. Folks, y'all be good. I'll catch you later. Off season, down season, mid season. It's always good to be a Tiger. Go Tigers.